out here at our one of our favorite places here, the Kentucky Horse Park Primitive Campground, and KY-QRP is set up on the on Derby Day. Really a pretty nice day, except that it is very, very windy, so we've had to be careful about how we do our antennas and stuff to make sure stuff doesn't blow away. So let's go have a look at some of the setups. Here once we get going here, this is Bobby, KB-QRP, and he just uses the back end of his Jeep here for his operating position. He's got a ICOM IC703, very popular QRP rig.
It's got one thing I like about the 703. It's got the built-in tuner, so that makes things nice. Just using an end-fed out there on 40 to 20 meters. And also I brought, but it looks like I may not get around to hooking it up today, but I brought my 10-tech CW rig for 20 and 40 meters, and that's a fun little rig.
I can imagine.
And also I picked this up, and I've used it at home, but not in the field. This is the first C-Match tuner that I've ever tried.
Okay.
And this is the M-Tech ZM2, and it'll tune your coax on balance lines, it'll tune your twin lead, or you can run even a long random wire on it. And it doesn't have inductors in it. Instead of an LC network, it actually does the tuning with two capacitors, and it's a very sharp edge tuner.
Okay.
You can miss your mark real easy, but the thing I like about it is you don't have to take a meter in the field with you for your SWR, because once you get it tuned, this little LED goes out.
Okay.
And you know you've got it matched, and they sell them as a kit, or you can buy them assembled. Now I bought this one used off eBay, so for maybe $50 and some shipping. So anyway, they're around $100, I think, new from the factory. So that's one thing I'm gonna try this year. I like it. I thought it would be great with this rig.
Oh yeah.
You know, it'd make a nice little deal, because obviously you got no tuner there and everything. And we noticed this 10-tech here. It's I don't think Saraville had Dolly didn't have much to do with this one. I don't know. So anyway,
and that's your battery that you're using right there for the power of this.
I've had it about 4 years. If you treat them good, they'll last. You know,
okay, and then this end-fed is homebrew, right, Bobby?
No, this
is the commercial one. Okay, alrighty.
I've got two of the homebrew ones in here, and they've been tested. They work real well. Just don't have one up today.
Alrighty.
But I looked online, found out how to wind them, and I don't even know what we did with the bag. I wound a couple, and anyway, they just basically, they all look the same. But I did make one that will work 40 through 6 meters with the tuner. Then I made one that's just a monoband 20-meter one. You don't need a tuner with it. It's pretty much below 2 to 1 on the whole band.
All right, well, that's Bobby, KB-QRP. We're going to go over here and see some other folks. Alrighty, now we're over here. We get Linda, AK4GZ, was on the air earlier and worked somebody in the Indiana QSO party, and then Glenn, AK4HA, working on this antenna, which is his favorite antenna of all time. Loads up, you got about 96 feet of twin lead feed wire, and then loads up really good on all the bands. So, and Glenn's got a number of radios here right now. He's set up with his Yaesu FT817, and he's got a little amplifier there if he wants to kick in some power using an LDG tuner. I got one of those too, really nice. So, in a dull moment, Linda reads her book. There we go.
KJ4YSY, correct? And I'm Davis, Delta Alpha Victor.
QSL.
Thank you very much. 7-3 for the contact. And CQ, any mobiles or Q KY-QRP from Kilowatt Radio, 9 Echo.
Is that Indiana QSO party guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is Roger and Loretta, and KJ4YSY is Roger, and he's also using an FT817. He's got that on 40 meters right now, working some Indiana QSO party contesters today.
Very well.
Yeah, good conditions. And
That makes about 9 contacts I've made for Indiana.
Good. So we get he's got a fan dipole up there, probably hard to see, and he's got his ends tied off with these paint poles here with a homebrew stand. So that works out good, and he's getting good results with that. Okay, and last but not least, this is my setup. I'm Chris, KU4A, and I pretty much stick to 20 meters in our field events, at least have so far. My rig of choice also the Yaesu FT817, and using an MFJ keyer with bencher paddles. And for digital, I use a Signal Link USB. I try to run some PSK31. Didn't have much luck with that today, so I've gone back to CW and worked a bunch of stations in Washington State. They're having a contest today in the 7th call area, so I've worked a bunch of stations in Washington. And my antenna of choice is just a plain old dipole for 20 meters. I use a sectional fiberglass mast, and this is a tripod that I use to hold that up, and it's got some stakes that my next door neighbor made for me to hold it into the ground, which is an accomplishment on a day like this with as windy as it is. So anyhow, it's just a plain old dipole, and then Roger threw a rope up the tree, that end over there, and this end here is just tied off to that tree. So we're having a great time. One of the first field events that we've done in 2014, as the weather's finally starting to get nice for us here in central Kentucky, and I'm going to get back on 20.